Well, firstly, thank you so much to everyone that's joining us today. This is the third of 4 virtual trade missions taking place over the next sort of week or so. We've been to, where did I say we've been to? We've been to Brazil yesterday, which was very exciting, and we were in Africa on Monday. So we'll be visiting, technically, the UAE on Monday next week for anyone that's interested. But today our focus is all about China. And I guess the aim of these virtual trade missions is essentially to equip games companies, games businesses with invaluable insights into doing business in foreign markets, understanding the landscapes there, and just getting a better grip on how the infrastructure handles together. So my name is Leo. I work in the membership team here at Ukie. If you have any Zoom issues during this session, please let me know. And to answer a question that's come up a couple of times already, I will be recording this session, but I will need to edit certain bits of it out, namely the beginning. So just bear with me on that, and I'll get that sent over to you via email. A couple of housekeeping notes. If you have any questions during the session, please feel free to use the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. Try to avoid using the chat, but the Q&A just makes life easier for everyone. And our panelists can answer those questions sort of on the fly if they can multitask, or we can leave them until the end of their session and read some out. So yeah, feel free to ask any questions. So yeah, without further ado, I'm delighted to welcome our first speaker today, Lana from MY.GAMES. Lana, you're going to talk about what you've learned from your experience with War Robots, which is a mobile game, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So yes, Lana, over to you. I will mute myself, and you can take it away.
Okay, let me share my screen. There, thank you for the introduction. So, hi everyone, and thank you so much for having me here today. Well, actually, I prefer to go first, but just before joining Zoom today, I realized I'm a little bit nervous, but it's okay. And well, it's time to start. So my name is Lana, and I'm a senior project manager at MY.GAMES, working on the War Robots project. I'm really excited to talk to you today about our journey of entering the Chinese market. I hope our experience will be useful for anyone planning to enter this huge and I can say this unique market. If you have any questions during my presentation, please feel free to write them in the chat and I will address them at the end of my presentation. Thank you, and let's move on. So, let me start with a brief introduction to our project. War Robots is one of the most successful free-to-play tactical shooters and has been around for over 10 years. During this time, we have gained more than 270 million registered users worldwide, and our revenue has exceeded $900 million. Well, you know, a lot can happen in 10 years. For instance, SpaceX managed to launch the first commercial spacecraft into orbit in 10 years. And in 10 years of operating, we managed to enter the Chinese market. And it felt like we had landed on Mars, honestly. But today, I'll be sharing about that. Actually, not about landing on Mars, but about landing on the Chinese market, of course. War Robots officially launched in China on the 18th of January 2024. And since then, we've achieved the following milestones. Over 1,300,000 installs on iOS, over 4,500,000 installs on Android. I'm so sorry, but I can't provide specific figures on our revenue yet, because we need to wait for the official press release from our PR department, but I can say that we're pretty pleased with the current results. And I can say that, for example, accordingly to the publicly available statistics on Magic, for example, in November, we rank 6th in the top grossing shooters in China. And for us, it's a great result. Lao Tzu once said that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Or as I like to put it, breaking into the Chinese market starts with getting an ISBN license, because, well, even a great Johnny needs its paperwork. Just to clarify for those who may not know, an ISBN license is an international standard book number. It's a license required for releasing your game in stores in China. This ISBN license is issued by the regulatory body of the industry in China. It's called NPPA. We applied for an ISBN in 2018. We waited and waited, and by the end of 2019, I left Pixonic, feeling hopeless about ever getting that elusive license. I tried working at 2 other companies before returning to Pixonic in March 2022, and guess what? We were still waiting. I mean, back then, I seriously thought that license was just a unicorn myth. But lo and behold, on the 21st of March 2023, boom, we received it. We were incredibly happy, but were we prepared for it? No. The first tip is be patient. Just wanted to let you know, if you're listening and thinking, are we going to go through something like this too? No way, not anymore. Here is the tip number 2. Focus on the relevant experience, like the studios who applied for the license with you the same year. The third tip is plan your work and work your plan. Sure, I mean, what else is there for a project manager to talk about? It's all about planning, right? So, at first, we plan to launch just the iOS version in 2023. According to our optimistic estimates, we aim for a release around July 2023, but then we decided to also roll out on Android. And that shifted our calculations. Now, instead of 5 months, we're looking at a 7 months development timeline. But hey, so far, it doesn't seem so tricky, right? Hold on. Here comes the real challenge. So, what do we have here? How did 5 months turn into 10? Quite simply, I can say. Starting from the 1st of September 2023, all new apps must undergo the ICP filing process before they can be published on Apple stores in China. ICP license is a permit issued by the Chinese Ministry of Industry and Information Technology to permit China-based websites to operate in China. So, getting that ICP filing took us nearly 3 months, messing up our whole timeline. Well, as you can see, what we expected and what actually happened turned out to be quite different. I could talk all day about why our plan didn't work out, but let me focus on 2 main areas. The first one is risk management, and the second one is knowledge management. I guess you've probably heard plenty about risk management before, and I guess some of you might even teach me a thing or two about how to handle risks correctly. So let's focus on a less known area, knowledge management. And let me show you a slide with a Rumsfeld matrix. If you're curious, you can just Google it. The key point here is that we overestimated our expertise. We thought that our real expertise is about 60%. And okay, we have about 15% of untapped knowledge we haven't used yet. We have 15% of risks, and also we have about 10% of unknown unknowns or black swans. But if you look at the picture on the right, you see that the reality turned out to be quite different. We clearly overestimated ourselves. So the next tip is the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing, especially true when it comes to the Chinese market. So let's summarize all the lessons we've learned during the preparation of the CM version of our game. The first one is deal with risks. Beside the ones we create ourselves, there are outside surprises, like our adventure with ICP filing. The second one is build a strong team that isn't afraid of challenges, and please try to avoid rotating specialists during the development process. It's a crucial point. The third one is don't hesitate to communicate with other studios that have the experience you need. I, for example, would be happy to share knowledge, unless, of course, you're our direct competitor. The first one is quite obvious, but keep your plans in sync with your publisher, even if it seems like staging the obvious. And the last one is try not to commit to specific dates because everything can change in China. Again, referring to the ICP filing case, apart from laws, there could be releases from other game companies that might affect your launch date, and so on and so forth. Well, I'm not a project manager for sure, or I'm not a product. So sorry. I'm not a product manager for sure, but I've got a few things to say from a product angle that you might find quite interesting. Instead of 1,000 words, just read the Personal Information Protection Law. It's stricter than GDPR or CCPA, in my opinion. The second one is your servers will be in China, so please think ahead about your players' pains. Also, get ready to revamp your content and tweak your mechanics, like gacha stuff. And the last one is for details on localization and cultural adaptation, please talk to colleagues who handle those services. It's a broad topic that requires a separate presentation. So this is the last point. And I bet you're probably tired of hearing me talk by now. So let's lighten the mood a bit. I'll show you 3 of our pilots who got a makeover. Your job, check them out closely, remember them, and buy them in our game. Just kidding. Just kidding. You look, I flipped the slide, and you tell me what changed. No prizes in case you were wondering. So that's after, and it's before. Just a few seconds. And the final slide. We removed the red eyes, tattoos, and inappropriate dragon images from the armor. Red eyes are reference to blood, horror, and vampires. Tattoos are natural body modifications, and dragons are an inappropriate use of elements of Chinese cultural heritage. That's why it's prohibited here. So, I guess we're ready to move on. And you probably think that the toughest part for us was planning and redesigning the product. If so, you're quite mistaken. The most challenging aspect for us was communication and establishing collaboration between our publisher, iDreamSky, I will refer to them as IDS from now on, and Warrobots teams. I feel like if an AI were giving this presentation for you, it would probably say something like, "Oh, these pesky humans, all these problems." So let me show you the size of our team. We were about 20 folks, give or take a few at times. We all work remotely from various corners of the globe, mostly from our house. And here they're pinned on the map. By the way, I want to point out that working remotely and still maintaining high efficiency is possible thanks to the high professionalism of our team, personal accountability, and a high level of engagement. And of course, thanks to our unique culture of our studio. And I can say the same about our publishers team. But by the way, iDreamSky team work from an office in Shenzhen, unlike us. So working with publishers team has been quite a journey for us. We've had to learn a lot and rethink many things. So let's dive into communication models. And I will tell you how we set up communications to be transparent, fast, and simple. And let me outline two main models. The first one is the manager-mediated model. Here, specialists from our dev team and our publishers team don't communicate directly, and all interactions go through managers. While this can work for large teams, it can slow down communication and turn the manager into a bottleneck. Given our fairly small team, we opted for another approach. So our choice is direct contact model. Here, our specialists communicate directly with the publisher, spreading things up and keeping everyone in the loop. Now let's talk about learning to work together. Another common cultural differences and differences in mentality and approach to work. It's no walk in the park, and I'll share with you some of the main challenges we faced. While we're just opening our eyes in our beds, the IDS team is already going to lunch, having completed half of their workday. I've been working from the IDS office in Shenzhen this summer, and I have experienced this firsthand. There's been a lot of talk lately about AI replacing translators and making the profession disappear, and I can see some truth in that, but here is my perspective. AI has made significant advancement in recent years. Auto-translate works quite well. However, it often struggles with capturing subtle nuances and understanding context. That's where our team members who speak Mandarin come in. They help us avoid misunderstandings and ensure accurate communication. And this slide is dedicated to the much discussed topic of cultural differences and differences in work approaches. I understand that everyone talks about it, but it's truly important. I think these two things wonderfully illustrate the differences in work-life balance between Chinese and Western companies. The first one is hard work betrays none. It's true for Chinese teams. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. It's all about Western approach to work. Also, I want to note that we have completely different work paces. And let's summarize all the lessons we learned about communication and collaboration. When choosing your team for the Chinese version, it's important to ensure that all specialists are okay with translating messages and documents from Chinese to your native language and are comfortable seeing Chinese messages in chat. The second one is direct communication resolves issues faster. Also, remember, if something isn't clear, speak up. And if you are uncertain about understanding everything correctly, utilize visualization tools. We needed to create a new login flow. You can see it on the right. And let me tell you, it's very different from the global version. The team from IDS, from our publishers team, sent us a lot of documentation. We read through it and we didn't quite understand everything. We would have been figuring it out for a long time if we hadn't decided to simply draw everything described in the documentation in the Miro tool. That's how we quickly resolved everything. Lastly, calls and face-to-face meetings aren't just for networking. They foster trust. Faster than your grandma's secret cookie recipe spreads joy at your family gatherings. So, I hope I didn't make things too complicated by the end of my presentation. I mentioned that there were things we didn't know, aspects we overlooked, and challenges we faced. It's important to know where your knowledge stops and where it needs improvement. So, what I want to emphasize is that you, as game developers, understand your product like no one else does. It's comparable to how parents know their own children so well. On the publisher's side, there is extensive experience in operating in the Chinese market and a deep understanding of cultural nuances. On your side, there is a clear grasp of the game's main live operations and monetization strategy. So, the key to success lies in understanding your strengths and weaknesses clearly and in working together with a publisher effectively. And please establish a trusting relationship with your publisher. Rely on them for navigating the Chinese market. Publishers are your best friends. Well, and to conclude, I would like to say, let's share knowledge. Let's help each other and make the industry better so that more players can enjoy truly exciting games. Thank you so much for your attention, and I can proceed with the questions.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Lana. I really appreciate it. That was really insightful. Jono's got a question in the chat. I'll read it out. They've asked, as a studio, were you prepared for such a long delay in the ISBN number? Is it normal? Is it normal for it to take that long to be granted one?
I can say that it's not normal. As we're speaking about today's environment, but it was normal 2 years ago. So that's why I think that it's better to rely on the current experience. So I guess if you're going to promote your game to China and you're going to get your ISBN, you won't be waiting for too long. I guess it will be for about 1 year.
Fantastic, that's good to know. So has anyone got any other questions? Feel free to pop them in the chat or raise a hand. But otherwise, Lana's kindly provided your details there on the slide. But we'll make a note of those and share with everyone.
By the way, if you have any questions, maybe not just for now, you can find me on the LinkedIn, or you can add me in the WeChat, and we can talk to each other. That's okay.
So James has asked about cultural differences and how you find out about them. James, I'll let Lana speak, but we do have a speaker, Mingzhen, later on today to talk about the cultural differences for China. So Lana, I don't know if you want to sort of add anything, if you used a consultant or someone to help you with the cultural differences.
I can say that we shared we asked for help, and we shared experience with other studios. It really works. That's why I talked about it. But there are lots of lessons we learn by ourselves.
Fantastic, and hopefully those will help make the process easier for future games as well. So Kevin's asked as well if all MY.GAMES titles are China-based. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that.
No. Actually, for now, we have only one game operating in China. It's War Robots, but we're waiting for more details in the future, for more exciting news.
Wonderful, fantastic stuff. Well, if anyone else has any questions, I don't know if you're going to hang on for a little bit, but obviously you shared your details there, and we'll share details with everyone in the chat further on. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Lana. I really appreciate it. We're chugging along nicely on schedule, I think, maybe a little bit early. Richie, are you and Erin, are you both ready to present on unlocking success strategies for thriving in China's growing PC games market?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine.
Okay, cool. So I'll share screen.
Thank you.
Is this okay for everyone?
Yeah, you might need to pop it into presentation mode perhaps, but apart from that, we can all see it.
If actually, so wait, sorry. Is this okay?
Yep, that looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So today I'll be presenting together with Erin. So as a brief introduction, I'm Richie, one of the co-founders and chief business officer of Kepler Interactive. Kepler is a game publisher, but also a developer group. We have currently 9 game development studios and also a publishing team primarily based in UK. We have released titles like Sifu, Scorn, Chia, and Pacific Drive. And as you can see, we are primarily a PC and console-focused game publishers. I'll let maybe Erin talk about herself and IOI.
Yeah, hello, it's Erin from IOI. I'm the head of the business development team, and actually, IOI started as operating the biggest Chinese curator on Steam with 770,000 followers right now. And IOI is one of the leading publishing partners and marketing service provider for PC and console games in China. And luckily, we're trusted by global publishers like Bethesda on the Starfield, EA and Sega on the Metaphor recently, Hello Games, No Man's Sky, and more. And yeah, that's what be or me, and I look forward to talking more. So Richie, do you want to handle the first 2 parts?
So yes, I'm hoping to provide 2 different perspectives about we are as a developer and publisher from a Western market, and how do we work with a local partner like IOI to reach more audience in the China market for the PC and console games we're making. So the first section, we'll start with why is the China market important for PC game developers or publishers. So as we look at some of the numbers, China is basically one of the largest PC gaming markets. I think from a most recent report from Nico Partners about China PC games market, there's about 300 million PC gamers in China. This obviously includes a lot of the free-to-play PC game players like League of Legends and maybe some of the web game players, but it's still a huge player base. And we focus on the premium PC gamers, if you look at Steam. And this is based on Steam's official hardware and software survey. About 35%. This number has been growing, and now currently Chinese is the most used language at 35%. So if we considering Steam has about 130 million monthly active users, that give us an estimate about 50 million Steam users in China. So that is a very huge amount of players to reach out to. On the other side, right, it doesn't mean that because of China is a big portion of the Steam user base, it does not mean that releasing on Steam alone will guarantee a huge amount of players from China that will buy it. When we look at, this is looking at the top 10 release of new games on Steam in October 2024. And we can see that percentage of reviews in Chinese, this is kind of a proxy of how many players is sort of came from China. And this percentage can range from 1.4% to 38%. So that's a very big difference across different titles. And I think some of them is affected by whether they run a proper marketing campaign. And it does not mean that if you are big on Steam, then it doesn't mean necessarily Chinese players will be aware of that game. That's also why I think it's important to really make sure you have a proper marketing campaign in China, and also does good communication and community management with the local players, and to make sure they are aware of this game. So given that, right, what's the options we have as a foreign game developer and publisher to enter the China market? So as Lana was talking about, right, ISBN. So I guess the first question is, do you need an ISBN or not? It's a complicated question, but short answer is, if you're only targeting the premium PC market, ISBN is not a must. You will need ISBN if you want to launch on any mobile or console platforms in China. That's why it's necessary for War Robots. It's also necessary if you want to release on console. But for PC, you can launch on Steam or APAC without ISBN, and the game is available for Chinese players. I think by a rough estimate, Steam probably accounts for 80% of the Chinese premium PC game market, and which means you can cover that pretty well if you are a premium PC game. But it does give you some benefits if you get ISBN. It will allow you to launch on more platforms in China. There is the Chinese version of Steam, which is released together with a local publisher. There's also the local platforms like WeCam, which you just give you a bit more players access, but it's not as big as Steam, if you consider that. The other important benefit is to allow you to host servers in China. This is also particularly important for multiplayer games because that gives you better connection for players. Having ISBN also release the restriction in marketing or advertisement, especially I think when you have ISBN, you can do ads on any platforms and also traditional medias, which is not allowed if you don't have ISBN. As a previous sharing just mentioned, right? So I think why War Robot takes such a long time is because there was actually an ISBN freeze around 2019 to 2021, where there's very little or even no foreign games got ISBN, but it has been continued into normal phase nowadays. So in the past 2 years, there is a regular amount of ISBN being released, improved. So currently the average estimate is about 1 year to get that. But obviously you will need a local Chinese partner to do that. And there will be certain changes on the game that will be required to get approval. There is definitely work to be done. So that's the first question. So considering if you are not, because if you have ISBN, then you definitely have a local partner, which will be handling most of the publishing marketing. But if you don't, and you're entering the market without it, primarily with Steam or APAC, how would you market? What's the kind of option to market your games in the China market? The first option, obviously, working with a local partner still. There are primarily two types of market partners you can work with. The first partnership is basically a marketing agency. This is not very different from, I would say, PR and influencer agency that it's available out there in the Western market. So basically, you will agree on a scope, pay a fixed fee or a monthly retainer for them to help you handle all the marketing and operational services. It's a fixed fee, so if the game does really well, you don't need to share rev share, but also it's a cost that you need to bear on before you sort of while you're starting the relationship in China. On the other side, right, if there is local Chinese publisher interested in your game, you can also work as a publishing model, but it will be a regional-based publishing where the Chinese publisher will commit to spend a certain amount of market expense, and sometimes they will give you a minimum guarantee on the China sales, and in exchange, they will ask for a rev share of the China revenue. So this is only a rev share based on the China region. So obviously the benefit is you don't need to pay for the cost upfront, and there's obviously you're sharing a revenue to the partner. Hopefully the game will generate bigger revenue with a partner. And the last option is obviously building your own team. this will require, because China use different language and use all different platforms locally, you will need a local talents to handle marketing properly in China. This is more suggested for well-established companies where you have multiple projects that's targeting the China market. So yeah, that's the highlight, the things on my side. I'll pass on to Erin to talk about the second and the third and the fourth topic. Erin? Wait, I think she just got disconnected. Hello, Erin? Hello? Erin, can you hear us? Leo, can you help me check if
yeah, sorry, 2 seconds. I am trying to find Erin. Yes.
Okay. Sorry about the network, just stopped a time. And I'm coming back. Sorry for that. Hello everyone, and thank you for Richie's presentation about the previous two parts, especially about how to market your games in the Chinese market. So for the part 3, I won't dwell too much about how to market there and to say more about like how to prepare for Chinese market. And there will be 2 parts you will be especially take attention on. First is definitely the localization. It includes the text translation, subtitles, and dubbing. And of course, sometimes if you are ready to do the marketing exposure, you definitely need the marketing assets localized as well. So first part, if you really want to attract the Chinese players, then text translations and subtitles of simplified Chinese is definitely a must and a threshold. One reason is that it is the truth that the Chinese players or the Chinese people's English proficiency isn't that strong, as we mentioned maybe. Sometimes like people just need the digital direction to look up into the words, to go through the place guide, which was frustrating in the first place. So you're very likely to lose your players at the first step. Another reason is like Chinese players always say, if you have the Chinese localization, it will tap like you value the Chinese players or you touch the Chinese market very importantly. So that's why it's very important. And very luckily and grateful, more and more overseas developers are aware of the importance of adding Chinese language. A strong example is that what I listed here, the several games, which are the top-selling games on Steam in 2023, and all of them are supporting simplified Chinese, at least for the text translation and subtitles. And some of them even have the dubbing as well. So another example for the Steam Next Fest, which just happened in October this year. This year actually was crowded by lots of new games coming up, which is a great thing. We saw like globally, we have 2,700 games more to participate the Steam Next Fest. And among them, over 1,000 actually featured official simplified Chinese. And you can see the most popular ones. They are the majority have equipped the simplified Chinese as well. So the next part about the Chinese dubbing is definitely not a requirement, but everybody could see it can attract more Chinese players because it provides firstly immersive experience, and another, if you really have a high quality of the Chinese dubbing, it will help the Chinese players, to overcome the cultural barriers. So very successful case is actually Cyberpunk 2077, When the first time they showed offline in China, they actually announced that we are going to have a high quality Chinese dubbing, and we have a team of Chinese voiceover actors. At that time, it really a big hit and attracts people's lots of attention. And I think the Steam views accounts for over 26% among the global reviews. So it is effective, obviously. And the last part is about the localized marketing assets. For the trailers, for the KVs, it really has the localized Chinese there. It will catch the Chinese players' eyes pretty easily. And it will be a great help in winning the Chinese players. Okay, next page. Thank you. Yeah, network is that part about the networking connection. As people may not, actually the connectivity challenge could be a problem for some of the games, especially for the multiplayer games or online games. And as the Steam Global doesn't have a local server based in China right now. And if you want to set up a local server for your game, as Richie mentioned, it requires an ISBN, and obviously the additional costs and time and energy from your team. So that's why the accelerator providers offer a technique, usually an app, to allow the more direct or optimized routes for players to connect to servers far from them, so as to minimize the lag and the packet loss to ensure a smooth experience for the players. And it's highly recommended for the devs team or the Western publishers if you have a multiplayer games or online games. It's very common to see, like under some Steam games, the Chinese players were left the comments or reviews like that. We are pretty frustrated because we have disconnect for so many times. I will give you positive reviews after you fix it. So it will to affect the review overall and also affect other Chinese players' decision to buy it or not. And if you are a multiplayer game, an online game, a very wise choice is to have a direct cooperation with an accelerator provider. That means you can have a customized network route to optimize your game independently. So it could minimize the possibilities for the lag or the disconnection as possible. For example, the Windblown, which is actually published globally by the Kepler and supported by us in China, it actually worked pretty well, and we didn't see much complaints about the disconnections. And I listed some here, English names about the accelerator providers, and you can just take it as a reference. And the biggest one is the NetEase U Accelerator, which is actually owned by NetEase, and Xunyu Accelerator, etc. Thank you. And after talking about all things about how to enter into the Chinese market, what do you need to prepare, we would like to show some case studies. It's all from the iOS provider from some of the partners. I think it's fair to share some case studies to show exemplifies what kind of results it could be if you really have the basic knowledge about the Chinese market, if you fully understand of the Chinese market, or you have a strong partner. The first one is we would like to present the No Man's Sky. It's a very typical fixed fee agency cooperation mode. And honestly, I guess I assume some people may know it. It is an old game, has already released for 7 years before we cooperate with them. So at that time, actually their game have lots of free updates. So they win a lot of players globally, and they sold millions and millions. But at that time, they just have the organic marketing resources from China and has a certain Steam shares from China. So after discussion, the HowGames would like to take the baby step and to try, okay, let's see what kind of results can from the Chinese market. That's why we cooperated since 2023 and to do the marketing and the community cooperation. And so by taking advantage of their big update marketing bit, we do some marketing and also the social accounts operation. After 2 months, the shares of Steam sales from China doubled. reaching 45% at the peak. So it ranks the top 10 on the Steam of the China region at that time, and we are very proud of that. That's why our relationship, they become a long-term one. And we even set up a social account on Bilibili, which is kind of the Chinese YouTube. And starting from scratch, we grow our fans from 0 to 100K right now. We are very proud of that, and we labeled us as the Hello Games official and set our tone there, and like accompanying our Chinese players to go with this game. I think next one is the Sea of Stars. Sea of Stars is a published game, actually. It's funded by Colon Knight and published by Our Gamer in China. As a published game, actually, we spent much more time to help it almost a year before it released. So in this one, highlights the data first. One is like its best independent game of the GTA 2023, as some people may know, and it accounts for 25% of Steam sales from China. And at the top, it ranked 4th top selling games of the China territory. And for these games, actually, we have more freedom. Unlike the No Man's Sky, maybe we were cooperate with some like development marketing bits. But for the Sea of Stars, we would like to set up a timeline customized for China. For example, when to release the first trailer, and the second trailer, and when we could customize a Chinese-specific trailer or the videos, and what kind of the media outlets we would like to cooperate with, and what kind of content will attract the Chinese players. We will present to the Chinese players through the streaming and videos. So about the online and offline events, we will also to present to the Chinese players with a very special one. We even ask for cosplayers to come our events to interact with the Chinese players and give the feedback to the devs team. So it definitely works. We even held a creative fan art event, which collected hundreds of paintings from our fans, and I can hang on the wall of the devs team right now, and it works pretty well. The next one and the last one is Sifu. Sifu is also developed by the Slowcap, a studio of the Kepler Interactive, and we publish it in China. So in the first week, it have 1 million copies sold, and 40% PC units came from China. It's a very special one. Firstly, it's a Chinese Kung Fu game. Definitely you would assume it should be higher PC units came from China than other games. But also it's very special for like, it is exclusive to the APAC store, firstly, for a year. Unlike Steam has 80% of the Chinese players. APAC is actually have limited number of the players or active players from China, because a lot of Chinese players just go back to the APAC games to win the free games sometimes, but they didn't actually log on APAC and play games that often. So we did some special ones for them to direct all the traffic and to draw all the Chinese players to that platform. So we work with different media outlets, with the streamers, and to tell people to like set up the community and the social groups to tell people where to find the like fan group to talk with each other. And we also offer different videos, and even we have a special edition on UCG Gaming Magazine. Also have a special interview with the successor of the Bai Mei-Quan, which is genre of the Chinese Kung Fu, and all got a very thumbs up from the players. Even not just the game players, but also the people may not focus about this game or heard about this game, but they're actually interested about the Chinese Kung Fu and see it is a pride, like the Chinese Kung Fu could be discovered and even developed by the Western developers. So I guess that's pretty much about our presentation. And after presenting like what Chinese market look like, the Chinese market is very big, and welcome all kinds of excellent games from the DevOps team globally. And thank you so much, and welcome all questions.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Erin. Really appreciate that. That was really, really interesting. And Richie as well. Thank you so much for joining us both. Well, for both of you joining us today. If anyone has any questions, let me pop them in the chat or let me know. But otherwise, happy to sort of pass any more details over. It looks like we have a few. So James has asked whether there are genres that work that are less successful, I guess, historically in China. Are there any genres that just don't do well from your experience?
Do you want to take this one, Richie? Or I could like. I don't think there will be.
Yeah, I don't think there is any genre. I think there are genres that does better in China, like roguelike, like multiplayer co-op games tend to do quite well in China because of the variety of with streamers. There's one thing maybe like narrative heavy games from Western market, because a lot of things can be lost in translation, and those games tend to be hard to do well in China. That's the only thing I can think of probably.
Katie's asked sort of a similar sort of follow-on question, I guess. So she's noted that Sifu's a Chinese-style games, and she's asked, are games with other cultural themes less appealing or not appealing? So is a non-Chinese sort of styled games less appealing to the Chinese audience?
Sifu is quite special because it's a Chinese style game, and even with Black Myth Wukong, lots of people see 80% sales came from China. It's very normal because Chinese people understand the Chinese. But I also see some other Western cultures actually attracts people a lot, but it also relevant to the way you actually deliver the culture and how you present, for example, about the localization, which we just said, and also how is the way to do the marketing actions to like explain everything to the Chinese players, because a lot of Western culture is actually, I mean, in the real life is welcomed by the Chinese players and attractive. So I think the way to deliver the culture is very important.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's I guess it's about sort of finding that middle ground as well. Perhaps making something that isn't culturally Chinese still accessible to a Chinese audience. Wonderful. And someone anonymous has 2 seconds. Bear with me. Asking about what range of marketing budget should a studio consider for a PC game without an ISBN number?
Well, I think it can range quite a lot. I think for smaller indie games, it's possible to do a marketing campaign that's primarily based on organic influencers media with, I guess, I was in the range of, I don't know, 20 to 50,000 USD. But if you are a bigger game, I think it's also possible to do a marketing campaign of a couple of 100,000 USD. That's also definitely, there's even possibility to be higher for the China market. But usually I think at least for us, we would allocate about 10 to 20% of our global marketing budget for China. That's a general the amount we will use.
Yes, I agree with Richie. Like, it's also pretty relevant and vary according to your global budget, firstly, and then about your expectation to the Chinese market, because there will be risks if you will invest money. There is risk if you will invest money here, but also about the timing. Like, if you spend money wisely and you can allocate maybe bigger than the wish list breakdown in the Asia or in China to try a little bit for the first step, and usually it's just focused on the 1.0 release, the full release about the game, and try the effect. And if it works pretty well, then you'll be assured to have another invest into the Chinese market.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for that. I don't know if you want to sort of read out the other questions that have come through. Might be easier for you to. I mean, so Stuart's asked for a global game. Typically, what share of units can you expect to come from China? What's the split like? Would you say?
Yeah, I think as I showed in the beginning, the range, the percentage actually ranges quite widely. I think I would personally, I was saying anywhere above 15 or 20% is a good result, which means you already did a good coverage in China, reach a decent number of audience. There are exceptional cases where people can go to like 30% or above, but I would say around 15 to 20% is a good result. If it's below 10, that would say it's definitely something better can be done with more coverage, because considering how many China Steam users are in China.
Yes, definitely agree.
That's just the unit number, right? Because obviously China has the original pricing, so the actual revenue number will be lower.
No, that makes sense. That does make sense. And we've got a final question here. What's the easiest, fastest way to test the market to know if your game will be successful in China? Are there any sort of inroads that you can make that will allow you to sort of test if your game will be a success?
I would say Richie first.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you go first.
What I can think of, you can probably when you do there's two things you can look at, right? One thing is when you do some global marketing beats, right? Some of them will also be shared locally in China, so you will be still seeing wish lists from Chinese. You can see the percentage of wish lists you have from Chinese players on Steam. That's one thing. And second thing, you can also try to post or release some of your marketing trailers on Chinese local platforms like Bilibili and see how much views and coverage you're getting. That's probably a relatively easy and low cost way of trying without doing too much work ahead.
Yes, just to add something, because we got some questions like that from the devs team. I think so many. One way usually would like to firstly to do a basic marketing analysis. If you have a partner or if you like consult a marketing agency, you can just ask what the game look like. Firstly, what does the Chinese people look like? Will Chinese people look like my game, like your team? How many of your people in your team think my game will be successful in China? And sometimes for some partners, for the potential partners, we will do some marketing analysis for them as well. That includes to compare with some competitive products and about their performance here in China. So it's just a little analysis and also predictions. And another is, as Richie said, the organic resources. You can see if you have a campaign, no matter what you set up the account on Bilibili, because it's very easier for devs team right now just to ChatGPT everything in Chinese sometimes to see how many reviews actually can get from the platform. And if you are not sure for the full release but you would like to participate the Steam Next Fest, it could also see like how many organic wish lists came from China. Thank you.
That's really, really good. One sort of final question from asking for more questions. So Byron's asked if there's a good period for Chinese developers and publishers to launch their games globally to increase revenue or reputation.
Sorry, I don't fully get the question.
You mean the time, launch time?
I believe so, but specifically for Chinese developers and publishers to launch their games globally to increase their reputation or revenue.
Actually, first popped into my mind is to avoid some of the timing. Firstly, I think every devs before they launched the game, they were like take up the upcoming games and to see if there's any big AAA games coming up, for like GTA is coming or some other games coming, maybe avoid that period. That would be globally true. And another is for some Chinese festivals, it could be a good time, but if there will be the Chinese Lunar New Year, it will be aware if you want to launch at that time, maybe you will will be short of the marketing exposure at that time because all the medias and influencers will have the annual leave at that time. So maybe little people will notice about the game and make the contents about the game. So you may miss the timing. But for others, Richie, do you
Yeah,
want to?
I'll try to maybe answer from a different angle, right? I think in the past, most of the games from Chinese developers tend to sell only in China or primarily in China. So it's kind of the ratio is reversed, that 80% from Chinese players and 20% from global players. But we do see there are more games that are getting more traction outside China. Given the quality of the games from Chinese developers over the past few years has been increasing. So yeah, I mean, obviously, if I think it's getting better. And we obviously it's a global market, so this makes sense to reach more audience and globally. But it's also a long way to go for Chinese developers to. It's kind of reversing, right? We need to work better on localization in English. There's a lot of things to and also different marketing channels, different media, which is kind of the same question issue or challenges will apply for Western developers to enter China and for Chinese developers to enter the global market.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Richie and Erin. That's very, very kind of you to have joined us today. I think we should move on. Obviously, any questions, any remaining questions for either Erin or Richie, just pop them in the chat. And let's move on. Jason,
and one more note: if any of you guys have any interest or question, you guys can reach out to us on LinkedIn. Probably we didn't leave a contact, but you can also maybe reach out to Leo. Leo will have our contact. So.
Yes, I'll share all that with everyone further down the line. Fantastic. Well, thank you again. Really appreciate it. Jason, are you ready to go? We're running a little bit early,
okay.
but yeah, I think we should make a start. Does that sound good?
Yes, sure. Let me just share the screen.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
All right. Do you see my screen?
Yes. Yep.
Is it if I move left and right? Do you see the next page?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yep. So it's presentation mode. So yes, I'll let you. You can take it away, Jason.
Okay, all right. So, hi everyone. My name is Jason Ying, and I'm currently the Global Gaming Marketing Manager at RS. So, obviously, I'm honored to have these opportunities to participate in this meeting to discuss with everyone about the current state of the marketing in China's gaming market and potential business opportunities. So, my main presentation topic is, as you've all seen, is how to market in China. So basically, firstly, let me introduce RS. So RS is basically our company marketing agency in the UK and globally. And we are established in Beijing, China, with our headquarters being in Hong Kong. And then RS first overseas branch is actually in UK, which is called RS UK in London office. And we currently operate in 10 business centers globally, including London, Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Chengdu, and Wuhan. So we aim to provide the efficient services to global gaming publishers and developers with over 300 employees. Our company serves like leading game developers like Tencent, Hoyoverse, NetEase, one of the big clients, and we have over 1,000 clients that we work worldwide. So with a decade of experience in game marketing, RS has accumulated rich experience in key areas of the region, for example, in the China, Japan, Korea region, Hong Kong as well as the Taiwan, Southeast Asia, Australia, the Middle East, Europe, London, North America, and Canada, as well as Latin America. So these areas we cover. And then Next is today's topic, obviously how to market in China. I'll share many insights about this and will provide thoughts and experiences on the marketing strategies in China. And also have key informations on the Chinese gaming market, covering aspects like market size, user characteristics, and the current marketing approaches for some of the games that I'll showcase. So firstly, let's look at the user scale of the Chinese gaming market. In terms of the data trends, the size of the Chinese gaming user base grew from 2018 to 2023, with a brief decline in 2022. So according to the latest figure, from January to June, we can June 2024, we can see the gaming user base in China has reached around 674 million, making a historical high. And in recent years, user growth has slowed due to high users' expectations for game quality and innovation, as well as strict regulations on game licensing. That's what everyone said before, with the ISBN, leading to a reduced number of developers making new games releases. And then we have the after the understanding of the user scale, we look at the market revenue. So from 2018 to 2021, the gaming market revenue continuously grew. So in 2022, due to a restriction, you can see that in 2022, due to restriction on the game licensing and the pandemic, the users' unwillingness to and ability to pay, so it declined, resulting in lower revenue compared to 2021. But in 2023, China's actual gaming market revenue has reached 302 billion, which is an increase from 37 billion year over year. So that's a 13%, almost 14% increase, breaking the 300 billion threshold for the first time, which factoring the contribution to the growth. And the reason why, probably one, is because easing of the pandemic after the negative impacts, leading to a rebound in user spending powers and willingness. Second reason could be the concentrated of those new release games, some of the games which became major hits, supported by long-term operational products, and then widespread of adaptation of multi-platform releases, which significantly actually boosting revenue growth. And the latest data actually shows from the first half of this year, from now, I think it was January till the first half of this year, 2024, the China's gaming market revenue actually reached 147.2 billion. Which is actually quite good, because it might pass the 300 mark. And then next slide shows the overall state of the gaming market. So now looking at the revenue from the market, the mobile games remain the largest segment, accounting to 73% of the total revenue, followed by PC client games at 23%, and then the remaining portion includes web-based games as well as console games, handheld console, and so on. So that tiny percentage is the other games. And then, well, looking at the mobile gaming market, mini game programs is actually shown an explosive growth. In 2021, the mini game revenue was 2.7 billion, and then in 2022 it rose to 5 billion, and at 2023 it reached 20 billion, which is a 300% increase compared to 2022. And as developers and marketing costs for mobile games continue to increase, the user base enters a saturated phase where mini games offers a game developers a new growth opportunity due to, first of all, its lower development and user acquisition cost, and it lowers user entry barriers, and it has a faster return cycle. So mini games is something that is growing in China. And according to the latest data, in the first half of 2024, the mini program revenue reached around 16.6 billion already, while in-app purchase revenue accounting for 9.09 billion, and 54.8% of the total. So, sorry, my mouse is not working. So the result of the in-game app purchases revenue has been increasing year over year, and driven by users, the developers, and the marketing platforms, the minigame market experiencing rapid growth. So after that, we have game genre. So from the perspective of game genre, the RPG games are actually the most mainstream category, with 30% on the top 100 mobile games by revenue. The number of products, RPG constantly rank number one, accounting for approximately the 30% of the market. After that, we have, based on the above key points about the China's scale and market and revenue, so the negative effect of the pandemic actually is now diminished, which the game license assurance has returned to normal, so which means leading to a recovery in the supply, and simultaneously, the game user base has reached a historical high, so the overall market scale has surpassed 300 billion, like I mentioned before. So in summary, China's gaming market has become one of the most important market globally. And as the digital era continues to evolve, the diversity and complexity of the game genre, platforms, and player consumption demands are reaching a very high level. So in the vast of multifaceted market like China, how can the industry effectively market games? How can impactful marketing strategy be achieved? So let me dive into the in-depth exploration of the current state of advertising and marketing in the Chinese gaming market. Now, currently, advertising and marketing in China's gaming market has developed into an integrated operational model, which is characterized by a triad approach. So there's content, there's advertising, and there's community platforms. Those three elements work together, they're influencing and prompting each other to drive marketing growth. So the content marketing has basically become the game growth engine of game advertising, with advertising leveraging diversity content to attract user interest. On top of content creation, innovative ad resources is also amplifying the effect of content dissemination, so spread of information, and also expand its impact. At the same time, managing official brand platforms on media channels also helps to cultivate loyal users and strengthen engagement. So this integrated approach operation strategy supports advertisers in achieving marketing goals such as traffic growth, increase in user spending, and prolong of ad lifetime value. So next, I will be providing detailed explanation of the three aspects in terms of content, advertising, and community platforms. So for content, let's start with content actually. So when we talk about content for games, we have many aspects to explore, such as what you see on the screen, from short videos to long stream film, music. Compared to performance ads, content marketing has a unique advantage in it can evoke the user emotions, it reduces the player's resistance to traditional ads, and it builds brand impression. So diversity and engagement content formats such as novels, comics, live streams, short videos, and offline events can captive players and resonate with them emotionally and influence their perception. So among all those content platforms, short video platform has become the core channel for game content acquisition. In the past year, users have primarily accessed game content through short video platform like Douyin, which is TikTok in China, comprehensive video platforms like Bilibili, which is long video platform like YouTube, but it's called Bilibili in China, and then game live streaming platforms such as Douyu, Hoya, and also it's basically the same thing as Twitch in the Western world. Social platforms like Weibo and WeChat rank fourth, which is something similar to a WhatsApp, but with like more things that you can do on. And then community forums like Little Red Book, which is called Xiaohongshu in Chinese. And the short video platform rank currently is the top #1. So users basically shows a preference for various content formats, including short videos, live stream, long form videos, text-based videos, and audio. But short videos are favored in terms of engagement and entertaining nature. And live streams stand out as well because they have an interactive advantage. So with live stream, what happens is short videos and live streams are mostly preferred format among the Chinese audiences. So next, I'll explain and introduce you to the specific models for short videos and live stream videos in the next slide. So for short video collaboration model, it's split into 3 different parts. So short video can be like basically single post collaborations, the hype campaigns, 4, UGC, which is user generated content, and the performance tasks. So first one, obviously single collaboration, which means we partner with an influencer, a KOL, to create a customized video for a game, to promote that game. And then obviously the client or us pays for the video, and that's the most conventional collaboration model. And the next is the hype campaigns. So it's ideal for the major campaign updates, for key promotional periods, for new game release and stuff like that. So multiple entertainment KOLs are engaged and generate buzz rapidly, increasing topics, visibility, and short period. This format is effective to spread game-related topics widely. And then we have user-generated content. So this encourages ordinary users to the platform to participate by creating and posting game-related videos. Game advertising provides engaging tasks and rewards, so like cash, gifts, traffic boosts to incentivize the user to generate content. Now, content can include duet videos, offline activities, gameplay clips, or video using game-related effects or mini-games. And then lastly, we have the performance tasks. So unlike the first three, which primarily focus on brand exposure, the performance task actually emphasizes on the cost control and the measurable outcomes. So example, game publish plan, which advertiser posts tasks on the platform, and then the KOLs, basically influencers, volunteer to participate. The advertiser then sets the payment methods like by reservation, installs, activation, or views, and then they estimate the rates. So participants like KOLs, the influencers, can create a post of the game related video and then a download link and game topic payments, then set the rules. So for example, if I'm an influencer, if I'm an advertiser and I set the rate of 25 pound per activation, and then the influencer generates around 40 activation, then I will have to pay him or the influencer per 1,000 pound. So that is basically one of the examples. And then we have the live stream content that offers the variety of different collaboration models. So there's lots of them. So first of all, there's single collaboration model, which the host, basically the person that's live streaming, can be collaborated based on CPT, which is cost per time. So we pay them for how many hours that they stream. And then secondly, we have the monthly collaboration. So that's basically a monthly agreement specified with the streamers for the total streaming time and corresponding payment. And then thirdly, we have the live streaming ecosystem development. So a comprehensive one-stop live streaming service for game advertisers, including host incubation, host training, and then planning live stream rooms content for the host, all of those stuff. And then fourth, we have the e-commerce live streaming. So the influencer KOL can go to the official game account can basically open a storefront to sell the game related items like skins, mounts, or in-game currencies. And then during the live stream, they can do a pop-ups window in the bottom left or bottom right corner to allow viewers to purchase items with a click. And then we have the fifth one, which is the watch and earn task. So viewers are rewarded for watching live streams and completing specific tasks in the game, in the stream. So these tasks could be designed to increase live stream popularity during specific game events. Typically includes like following the live channel, watching the live channel more than 5 minutes, or posting relevant comments consistently on the channel. And then we have the previously we mentioned about popular collaboration formats and short videos and live stream. So there are some examples of them. So I'll actually play the video for a few seconds. There's sound, so you might want to not put the sound down a bit. So I don't think the sound works, but basically it's just a bunch of example videos for creative brand ads. The game advertiser uses the interactive and innovative formats such as top view ads, combining with the splash screen as well as in-game feeds with features like phone tilts, red envelope balloons, red envelope draws to boost engagement and conversion. So I have actually some examples to show you. So like in these videos, there are sections where I think this one's such a great example. So there's a section here that shows like different envelopes, red envelopes. You can draw stuff, you can earn stuff when you're interacting with these ads. So which is quite cool. And then on the right side, we have programmatic ads, which is basically bidding for ads in the platform. So media platforms offer tools that for automated and intelligent bidding, such as UBA, no bidding, no bid, and then CBO products, enabling advertisers to optimize the ad campaign for multiple objectives to effectively reach the right target audience. And then we have there are multiple ways to amplify the effect of short video content. So DAU Plus is a self-service promotion tool that allows users to boost a specific video by setting. So in the platform like Douyin, which is TikTok, you can actually pay for objectives like increased likes, increased followers, increased views, and you basically pay your own money, like budget to $68 or £68, £98, and so on. And then for like 2 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours for target audience that you can target gender, you can target age, you can target region. And these things can be bought. And then the second thing is trending content. So like native boosting the content posted by other users, influencers, or official accounts, supporting goals like clicks, engagement, and follower growth. And then thirdly, we have Spark Ads, which is a feature on TikTok, Chinese TikTok Douyin. So it's viral short video content created by influencers can be used as a bidding ad, promoting via influencers or official game accounts to reach a wider audience. Oh my God, okay, that was a video. And then after that, we have the live stream content. Bidding ads can effectively drive traffic to live stream, so increase views, engagement, and interaction. So there's feed-based ads, which means feeds directly to the live room. Ads displaying the live room content directly goes to feed. The user can click on and join the live stream. And then the second one, we have short video redirection. So short video redirection basically means users to live stream via a profile picture icon. So in this picture, you can see there's a little red profile picture icon, and when they click on it, the user can directly go to the live room to interact with the live content. So these strategies are used to enhance the efficiency of driving interest and engagement with game content. And then after that, we have the final component, which is community platform management. So game advertisers actually establish official brand accounts on platforms to serve their marketing hubs, to serve as their marketing hubs. For example, in the previous one, I think Erin said something about making an account, official account. So it's the same thing. So the official verification of account, it means that you have a blue tick next to your account, which means you're verified. It should be a blue V actually. Yeah, blue V official website account, and you can have the game download links, and it also enhance the authenticity and authority. So the next one we have the content aggregation. So incorporating features like hashtag, special effects, programs, topic shows, activities to basically towards guiding user to visiting more the homepage towards the premium content. And then the last one we have deep community deep engagement, which features like storefronts and purchasing items, merchandises, and group chats to integration to encourage deeper user engagement beyond content consumption. And then we have some case studies. So this concludes the introduction to China's games market in terms of content, advertising, and platform with the marketing strategies. So I have actually 2 case studies to demonstrate. So we actually worked with World of Warcraft, which is a game recently came back to China. So WoW was invested heavily in marketing, including short videos, long videos, live stream, search ads, as well as outdoor promotions. So I will dive into them in the next few slides. And as you can see, so the first one it's short video, obviously the biggest platform that I mentioned in the previous slide. So on the Douyin platform, we launched the top exposure product, which is top view, and search specific ads to capture the post view search audiences. So it's actually video, but I'll play it, but I mean there's no sound. So yeah, it's obviously Frozen Throne is it brings back a lot of memory. Anyone that plays WoW would remember this character, very familiar character if you played World of Warcraft. And then at the same time, this video shows the positions of the search. Oh, I can't really play it. I don't know why. Okay, yeah. So you can search on it and it will show up in different areas. And then you can click on it, which leads you to the event page. Obviously, it's published by NetEase. So we have there's gonna be NetEase there as well in terms of publishing in China. And then in terms of long videos, we have the Bilibili platform. So on the Bilibili platform, we selected the game-focused streamers to broadcast live, deeply covering the contents about World of Warcraft and guiding user conversion. So we use a variety of different KOL videos to promote the event information. And then on the Mango TV and Youku platform, we place OTT ads as well as video pre-rolls, so the first 30 seconds unskippable videos covering the users, the casual users at home to basically the game. And then after that, we have the niche media. So basically, we actually used on a male dominant soccer app, we ran a banner ad and PR articles to capture the male audiences that's interested in sports as well as the game World of Warcraft. And then we also used search, which is 360 search engine, which is what we use in China, for the PC and mobile platform. So basically, we play splash ads, as you can see in the middle and on the side, in the middle of the screen. To grab the user's attention and eye-catching materials, encouraging clicks, which is called a takeover. And then after that, we have the sound and voice, which is we used Cook, which is similar to Discord actually. We ran brand ads targeting the game users, frequently use voice communication tools, precisely targeting people that is interested in MMORPG games. And then we have the live stream, which is YY Live. We use YY Live to place informations about World of Warcraft's return to the China background and put it on the background, the live stream's background. And then on the Douyin and Huya platform, sorry, Douyu and Huya platform. Sorry, my Chinese is not really good right now. Don't know why. So we have like different events, live stream events using engagement content to convey the World of Warcraft game details with guides and other benefits as well. And then we have the music. So on the music and audiobook apps, we actually run brand ads for WoW to increase brand visibility. As well, it also is gain user interest in the game, as well as expanding the potential user base, because that's people that listen to music. And for offline events, we actually do use landmark cities like the Beijing really famous building in Beijing and as well as Shanghai to maximize the game exposure to reach a large number of potential audiences. We also promoted the campaign on the different taxi apps. So like, for example, this one here you can see it's a taxi app called Didi, which is a Chinese version of like Uber. So in summary, the marketing strategy in World of Warcraft returns focus heavily on brand exposure and generating extensive game content on live streaming platforms. Next, my case study 2. So I'll introduce the case study 2, which is AFK Journey, which was AFK 2 basically. It's officially launched in China on August 8th, 2024. And AFK 2 took a long-term, like multi-strategy approach to marketing with a focus on Douyin and Bilibili, achieving like quite good results. So the Douyin platform, it was number 1. So they had AFK was number 1 game for daily spend on major platforms in 2024. It also contributed to the highest new user acquisition on platforms and had the highest exposure reach on Douyin. So Bilibili platform as well in AFK2 journey actually topped Bilibili's gaming rankings. So it broke 2024's daily spending peak, as well as the overall cost ROI ranked as top media channels, which is cool. And then the next, I will provide the detailed breakdown of the campaign between Douyin and Bilibili. So for marketing for this campaign, it's basically split into multiple different parts. So firstly, pre-registration period. We basically have pre-registration ads starts 90 days in advance using 2 forms, pre-registration forms and mini programs. So during this period, the number of interest users was 2.4 times higher than the other similar games. We leverage tools for for new solutions. So with support of like there's a tool in Douyin, you can actually increase activation rate by 15%. Campaign volume grew by like 30%, and ROI also improved. And I can share you about this tool later after this call. And then there's also KOL live streaming. So a large number of streamers were selected for live broadcasting, with feed stream ads boosting the room of the live room for popularity. And then top live stream rooms had over, I think it was 100K views. The ARPU was in these rooms was 10 times higher than the industrial average. And then KOL short videos. So numerous like KOLs from various different game related content. We used them to make short videos, so resulting in about 100 million plus exposures on the first day. We had short dramas as well, like short series dramas, popular trend on the platform. So it basically produced, it also produced a game with the short video content. The audience for the drama actually reached about 17 million plus. And then third, we have the bidding. So the UB Max smart bidding, which is a feature, the ads running capacity of UBX Max is actually 1.9 times higher than UBA, which creator and ads combination bidding. The KOL content is automatically used for bidding ads, leading to over 10 million views on the first day and 13% reduction in activation cost. And then so that's basically the TikTok Douyin version. And then now we have the Bilibili version. So from Bilibili, AFK2 actually took a different approach to targeting game audiences and expanding traffic. So the strategy was divided into 3 main parts. The pre-registration phase is the same. So focus on target accumulation. 60 plus game influencers was recruited to create videos showcasing the game, driving pre-registration and increased content popularity by about 119%. The content was further used to expand the audience, growing the target group to about 965% from just traffic buying. And then pre-registration ads began 78 days before, and the pre-registration audience steadily increased over time. And then the second bit is basically step 2 is the game launch and the content deployment. So this one's focusing mainly on driving downloads and conversion. So they prepared in the platform creator events, in-depth game content and influencers to raise brand awareness by 274%. So that's just creator activity. And then we also have a wide range of KOLs to influencers to create different content, trending topics in entertainment, attracting other users, broader users with 10 million plus views on the first day launch. And then influencer videos also include game links, which is very useful to increase click-through rates, which was increased by like 56%, which is quite cool. And then step 3 is leveraging the platform's tool. There's a platform tool on Bilibili for ROI optimization. So focus on discovering paying users and boosting ROI. The target audience funnel, which you can see, is the core model that we use. So ranging from wide range of audiences on the bottom, and then we have interest in the game, and then we have content viewers that's interested in content, and then pre-registration users. So we use platform tools to optimize post-campaign ROI and improve ROI. This has improved ROI by like 128%. And then so that basically concludes our discussion on the scale and status of the Chinese gaming market and advertising trends. So we hope we can share to our game advertisers a variety of different strategies to achieve their marketing goals and also effectively promote their titles. So as a long-standing marketing service provider in the game industry, RS has basically accumulated rich experiences through different customers, partnerships, and marketing experiences. So we can provide how can we provide marketing services to help our clients. So after that, I have different slides about our media partners. So we've built like a bunch of media resources matrix, so including obviously short video platforms like I mentioned on the bottom with Douyin, long videos like Bilibili, Youku. We also work with the globally, so like in terms of the TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, IGN, Instagram, as well as PR like Reddit, PR like IGN game industry, and then paid ads with Reddit, and then Discord, which is great to actually they have a promotion new promotional resources, which I can talk to you about that in offline after this. And then we have the RS partners. So after years of advertising and marketing services, we have built a client, a lot of different clients that works with us. So obviously we work with NetEase, Perfect World, Hoyoverse, Curve Games, and Quali. So I want to say Curve Games actually, because Curve Game is actually a Western company that they're basically working with us. Curve Game and Quali actually, they're working with us to promote games in China. So I do have some case studies to show you if you were interested later on for those topics. And they're mainly PC Steam games as well. So it would be interesting to explore those and tell you about those as well. And then we have the marketing strategies. So basically we work with different parts of the funnel on different resources. So obviously awareness, we use like TikTok, Reddit, Amazon, so on, IGN. And in terms of content, we have short videos, long videos with TikTok, live stream with Twitch, Pico Live, and then we have YouTube for long videos as well. And then we have different bidding, which is the programmatic advertising, like I said before. So we're bidding with Google Meta, TikTok, Reddit, and so on. And then community with Discord, Reddit, and TikTok. So building channel and stuff like that. And then we have the next thing I want to talk about, which is quite interesting because we actually have a not just marketing service, but RS actually have this. We observed AI becoming increasingly integrated into the game industry. So we actually have this thing called Timmy, which is a AI generated content. And our technology team has partnered with Meitu to develop the AIGC smart ad platform for the gaming advertising industry. And this platform actually helps game clients optimize their ad campaigns with greater precision and efficiency. So there's ideal discovery, capturing trends. It can basically tell us what's trending in real time. Ads analysis, it can analyze, break down different advertising in depth to uncover different which one is successful. It also have like script creation. It can craft like personalized, high impact game ads for us. And then it also has the second bit where it has ad creation. So it basically it can create content, it can create bulk production of different materials, and it also auto generates and adapts to certain platforms for us. And then lastly, it does AI ad placements, which it does pre-launch ad analysis, which conducts different efficient like 5 minutes. Like basically it conducts efficient pre-launch analysis before the actual launch of the ad to the campaign, to the platform. And then it also creates different ad plans, and it's basically it streamlines multiple channels to manage and improve flexibility and ad placement. So that is what the last one is about. And I think that is pretty much it about the conclusive presentation of how to market in China. So thank you all for coming and listening to my talk. And there's my email and LinkedIn, and also a QR code for WhatsApp.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jason. That's really, really helpful. That's very, very complicated, isn't it? There's an awful lot going on to think about, and it's good to have experts in the field. There's a couple of questions in the Q&A. I don't suppose if you could scroll down and have a quick look at some of those. So one of them is just calling for you to, if you can pop back to the genre breakdown in China, if you can remember that slide.
Yeah, it's at the beginning.
Yeah. So whilst you find that slide again for one of our guests, they've also asked what are mini games. What is mini games program?
So have you seen Discord mini games or like YouTube mini games? Like basically that's what it is. So it's a much simpler game compared to mobile games, and people can just like go on it. It's like on a web or on an application like Discord, and then just play like really quickly. That's what mini games are, and it's really popular in China because we have this thing called WeChat, and the WeChat basically can allow us to play mini games, and it's something that is very popular in the recent years.
Fantastic. Yep. Thanks for clearing that up. So we've got another question here about hype campaigns. How do hype campaigns work? Do you use hashtags, or is it multiple yeah.
So hashtag is one of the, sorry, I can't see the questions. Where is the questions?
In the Q&A box at the bottom.
Okay. All right, let me just go through them after I answer your question. So you asked me about hype campaigns.
Yeah, it's right at the bottom.
How to generate
right.
hype, you mean? Oh, okay. All right, sorry. Can you remind me of KOL? The bottom it says, can you remind me what KOL stands for? I think I missed. It's key opinion leaders. So basically, it's influencers. It's another way to call influencers. KOL just means influencers.
Fantastic. Yep.
Yeah.
And then two above that, we've got.
Oh, above that. Oh, two. Okay. Can you talk more about how the hype campaign works? Do you use hashtags or just multiple KOLs spending content at the same time? Okay. So yeah. So in terms of hashtags, yeah, we use them, but there's many things we use. There's all sorts of different. At the time, there could be trending topics that we can use. We basically analyze the situation at the time of promoting that campaign, and then see what kind of thing is being hyped right at the moment. So use hashtag, use relevant influencers, or use famous people that in that time is quite famous in China, stuff like that. So it depends on the situation really to generate hype.
Fantastic. And last question, because we're running a little bit over, I'm afraid.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's okay. Blue tick on all those platforms, Bilibili
Yes.
and Weibo and everything. How can you attain one without having a Chinese entity or a Chinese ID? Is there a way?
No, usually basically what we do, we usually help our clients to make account, and then we apply for that. Because we're a marketing agency, so we help our clients with that situation. But without it, I think it's very difficult for you to get it. I don't know if there's any case where people can get it without having a Chinese person helping you, because they need to be having I think ID issued in China in order to open one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you so much again, Jason. Really appreciate you joining us today. Obviously, I will be sharing your details with everyone after the chat a little bit further down the line. Without further ado, though, let me double check. Mingzhen, are you on? Are you around?
Yeah, I'm here.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Jason, if you want to stop sharing your screen for the time being.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to stop sharing. Okay, wait, it's the red button. There we go. Okay, good. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you so much. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem.
Fantastic. Mingzhen, let me just pull up my notes. So yes, Mingzhen, you're going to talk to us about some of the cultural sensitivities and everything around building strong engagement in China, which we touched upon earlier, but I think we're going to go much further into, which would be really fascinating. So I'll hand over to you. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Let me share my screen. Just 1 second.
Yep, that looks all good. You might need to pop it into sort of presentation mode to make it a little bigger, but I can see it. I think everyone else can as well.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. It's really great to be here and be the last speaker. And I understand that I am the only one standing between you and your off-work time. So I'll be brave, but hopefully the information will be worth it. Just a brief introduction about myself first. My name is Mingzhen, and I've been working in the game industry for about 6 years. I previously worked at Creative Assembly for the game franchise Total War. I worked as a senior communications manager, and before that, I worked in Shanghai for a console game publisher, working with both Xbox and PlayStation. We've launched some AAA games such as Final Fantasy 15 and some indie games in China. So I've been diving into 2 different working cultures and helping games thrive in China. Over the next 20-30 minutes, we'll look at culture, trends, and strategies to help you connect with the Chinese players. While I was preparing for this presentation, I wanted to dive into a different angle from my fellow speaker. And then after preparation, it ended up looking a little bit like sociology, but I think it'll be very useful for you to know your players, to learn why they behave before you can act. So yeah, here we go. Before we start, let me keep reminding you that China market is really big. I know that you've already like heard this like a lot from the whole afternoon, but it makes up over 31% of the global mobile games revenue and 33% of the global PC revenue just this year as a single market. And the market is also growing fast, not only on revenue, but also on player base. But here's the thing, to succeed in China, you need to understand more than just numbers. You need to understand the culture and the players behind them. So yeah, we will use this chance to start by breaking down the culture factors that shape how players think and behave, and then we'll talk about strategy to create connections with them. Understanding the culture. So doing well in China isn't really just about translating your game into Mandarin. It's about understanding the mindset of the Chinese players and culture they come from. So here are some characteristics I've listed. At the time is limited, I've only got 5. But yeah, we can unpack them one by one. Firstly, a fusion of tradition and modernity. China is a culture that Chinese culture is a mix of old and new. It's a fascinating blend of Asian tradition and also incredible modern. While China is one of the most cutting-edge nations in terms of technology in general, we still embrace our traditional cultures. We enjoy monkey kings, dragons, fireworks, and of course our long and complex history. So players will feel a strong connection to these cultures if your game includes this Chinese mythology, historical features, or famous event will often connect really well with the Chinese players. For example, Three Kingdom, it's a very popular historical period that a lot of games use and got really successful in China. Festivals and seasonal events, obviously, like despite all the Western festivals, we have a lot of Chinese festivals like Chinese New Year, Mid-Autumn Festival. They are all great moments for you to create engagement with the players. Like Erin just said, at that time, people will be off work. A lot of them will stay at home, which will be a good chance for you to promote your game because people stay at home watching videos or play games. If you can run a campaign around that time, you're part of their lives and your chance of successful will be high. The second part, group-oriented with a collective preference. I think it's not very unfamiliar for the West that Chinese culture is more about collectivism rather than individualism. So in China, being part of the group and maintaining social harmony are very important cultural values. And this is strongly reflected in gaming behavior. So let's start with face or 面子 in Chinese. This is about status, recognition, and prestige. This idea is very deeply rooted in Chinese culture and lead people to pursue things that can show their success and seek public recognition. For games, players appreciate games that allow them to show their achievement, their lucks, and their respect from their peers, whether through, leaderboards, rare items, lucky draw, tournaments, ranking list, or any other activities for this recognition. Besides, to maintain status in the community, social interaction also is a really big part. Many players enjoy playing games that encourage collaboration where they can team up, collaborate wins, and build connections within the community. So multiplayer co-op games like It Takes Two, Pickle Parks becomes really popular in the region because of their social elements. Features that encourage teamwork or group activities can really resonate well. The lastly is about national pride. Obviously, national pride is growing this year, the recent years. Games that reflect Chinese culture or identity in a positive and respectful way can resonate deeply with the players and gain huge success. This is a generation that takes pride in this culture and enjoys seeing it represented in games. But on the other hand, you need to be very, very careful not to step into something wrong, because the criticism can be really overwhelming as well. And the next one. Next one is a interesting mix of the Chinese culture. So on the one hand, the value of diligence, achievement is pretty much rooted in our culture. So in game, it means many players love games that are challenging. They enjoy leveling up, unlocking achievement, and competing with each others. And of course, they can be really, really competitive. But on the other hand, there's a growing trend of lying flat, which means stepping back to relax and escape from daily pressure. That's where casual games with simple, stress-free designs are also getting their market share and become really popular. For example, a casual game called Shawarma Legend got really popular recently because it's very funny elements in the game that becomes very viral in China. So yeah, this is really a land for both hardcore games and fun casual games. So diversity. I would like to keep reminding everyone again that China is huge, both geographically and population-wise. So the size of the population of China is larger than South America, Europe, US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand combined. Although we keep saying Chinese players as a whole, but it is very important to know that Chinese gaming market is incredibly diverse. Understanding what kind of Chinese gamers you would like to attract are the key to your success. So generation-wise, older players probably often like games with historical themes, high quality PC games, while some young ones will prefer trendy designs. Regional also makes a difference. So in big cities, players might go for fast-paced, high-tech experiences, while in some rural, smaller towns, simpler, traditional mobile games are often getting more popular. Gender also plays a big part. The number of female gamers in China has grown a lot in recent years, and female prefer games with narrative-driven stories, beautiful aesthetics, and social elements. And finally, the taboos. If you want to enter into the China market, it is very important to be careful with the sensitive topics, because a wrong step can cause your game to fall immediately. Issues like political themes, like flags, maps, the relationship with Hong Kong, Taiwan, Tibet, Xinjiang, or if you're using some historical references in your game, please make sure you're using it right. Or some geopolitical themes like the relationship with Korea, Japan, yeah, or anything that just might feel controversial should be avoided. Because ultimately you're there to run the business, to engage with the players. So yeah, please make sure you follow these rules. And now let's learn from some really expensive lessons. So the first one is EA's post about Sims 4 during the 2022 Chinese New Year. Well, the post was intended to celebrate the festival. It has 2 points that triggered the anger from the Chinese audiences. The first is the way to call the festival. Is it Lunar New Year or is it Chinese New Year? This is an issue that has been debating for years and is still being debating, so be careful about that. And the other one is way bigger, that triggered the whole crisis, is a picture that featured the character dressed in hanbok, which is a traditional Korean outfit. So the issue from historical tension from China and Korea over cultural heritage, with Chinese players thinking that hanbok was being inappropriately highlighted during the celebration they associate with Chinese culture. And the second one, this one actually just really happened this month. The game Aggregators, which is a collaborative horror games, is facing severe backlash because it includes a Taiwanese language option. This is a little bit strange because most of the time the game will have traditional Chinese for players in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Macau, and for simplified Chinese language for mainland China. So having a Taiwanese language option is a little bit odd, and the Chinese players do perceive the choice as politically charged. Okay, so on the left, this one is a Sony's Weibo post about the launch of their new camera in 2021. If you really just look at the post, it didn't look like there's anything wrong with it, but the issue happened as a date. They launched the new camera on July 7th. This is a date marking the start of Second World War between China and Japan. And for Chinese people, it's a day to remember the history. So the announcement was seen as culturally inappropriate, especially given Sony is a Japanese company, which leading to public crisis. The last one on the right, this is a screenshot from the game Life is Strange: True Colors. So the game features a Tibetan flag, which can be seen above the shop's entrance. And of course, Chinese players start to review bomb the game because it's seen as politically charged to challenge China's territory completion. So as we learn from those examples, let's take a closer look at the players themselves. What define the Chinese gaming audiences? We know their preferences are deeply rooted in culture, gaming, and marketing campaigns that reflect Chinese traditionals, values, or storytelling elements often resonate really strongly with the players. And they also have strong social orientation. They enjoy collaboration, community building, shared achievement. This makes social features incredibly important. Of course, diversity is the key. Generational, regional, and gender means that preference vary across different player groups. So make sure you understand what type of players you would like to attract. Of course, Chinese players can be highly competitive and achievement driven. They enjoy the challenges of leveling up, competing on the leaderboard, unlocking rare rewards, getting lucky on the lucky draw. So achievement isn't also just personal. It is something that they like to show to others for their public recognition. And also, it's very important to know that their sensitivity to culture and political issues. Players value the game that respect their culture and avoid all the controversy. And finally, Chinese players are pretty vocal. They would like their opinions heard, and because they have limited access to some of the Western softwares, they usually will use your review sessions as a way to voice their opinions. And also they expect the company to listen and respond quickly to their feedbacks. So if there's a problem, they will value shift and transparent solutions. By understanding these characteristics, we can create experience that truly resonate with the Chinese players. So how do we build some meaningful engagement? Of course, the first step is to do your research. It is very important to dive deeply into the cultures, preferences, and expectations of your audience. working with native experts or consultants will be able to help you understand the market and, very importantly, avoid the potential minefields. Next, it's not just about the translation, it's about the localization. This means adapting your marketing campaigns to truly fit the taste and habitats of the Chinese players, not just translate your Western campaign to Chinese. It's about making them feel like the campaign was created for them and everything should feel relevant and authentic. Show commitment to the Chinese market. You also need to show you're serious about the Chinese players, as they value the companies that invest their communities and demonstrate long-term commitment, whether it's through exclusive events or localized updates, having your own account on Bilibili or Douyin, or doing some ongoing engagement. Those actions do matter. So the other part is to collaborating with local influencers, because currently influencers is the most important way for Chinese players to know about the game and purchase the game. So platforms like Bilibili, Douyin, or Douyu are incredibly popular, and influencers can help you reach audiences in a very authentic way. And they have strong connections with players and they can build trust for your game. Social elements, they are pretty essential for the Chinese market. As Chinese players love connecting with others and celebrating their achievement, so building a marketing campaign with social elements can help the game get some organic attention, as well as probably getting viral in China. And finally, if something going wrong, be ready to act quickly. Things will happen, but responding transparently and sincerely can go a long way in maintaining trust. In China, your speed and attitude in addressing issues are just as important as the solution itself. So, speaking of the native consultant, I would like to just quickly introduce you Playful Digital. I specialize in helping international game studios go to the China market through marketing campaigns. And this is still a very, very young business, but I'm already very privileged to have worked with a few indie studios and getting their games seen in China. So I'm happy to support indie studios with different budgets, and we do not have complex contracts. And yeah, I'll make sure that you got a very good account manager. Yeah, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or via email if you have anything you want to know, or you want to chat more about China, or we can just grab a coffee. Yeah, that's all I would like to share, and thank you so much for your attention and time. I hope this presentation has given you some useful insights. And to end this speech, I wanted to finish with a joke to show that I've learned some British humor after 6 years of staying here. So I go to Google, what's the best video game joke? And this one pops up. Video games are great. They let you try your craziest fantasies. For example, on The Sims, you can even have a job and a house. It's funny and sad at the same time, as our industry is not in a great position where a lot of companies, studios, and talents are struggling. But I think sometimes the opportunities are behind the crisis, and maybe it's time to look at the other market, and maybe it's time to look east. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mingzhen. Really, really appreciate you taking the time today. Your details are all on the screen, but I'll share them with everyone attending. We've got a question in the chat about working alongside Chinese people or Chinese companies. What can you talk about the sort of work culture and sort of communication culture there?
I think work culture with in Chinese companies and in UK or Western companies are really, really different, as I have experienced both. So I guess like one of the things is like in Chinese culture, things can be really fast paced. They would want if there's like a project or something, people would want to get things done as quickly as possible. While in like Western culture, it's probably people value their off work time more, so like things can be slow. That is like one thing I noticed, like that is like really different in terms of like the work culture. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's really important to know. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. So, I mean, the only question I had from the outset, you shared some really fantastic sort of case studies of companies who might have put a foot wrong or slipped up a little bit. Have there been any examples that spring to mind? I am putting you on the spot a little bit. Companies that have done something quite ingenious, quite clever, if they've latched onto a certain element of the market, perhaps that's actually impressed you professionally.
Yeah, of course, as because there are some companies that are doing wrong doesn't mean there aren't having companies doing right. So one of the first thing that pops into my mind is Total War 3 Kingdom. I worked with Total War franchise while I was working at Creative Assembly, and Total War 3 Kingdom is a game that is based on the Three Kingdom period in China. And all these history elements in the game are so accurate, and they make sure like all the historical reference are correct, and make sure like they've have all the Chinese experts checked with everything. When the game was launched in China, it got really, really popular there, and Chinese players really like that CA. Spend a lot of time, like exploring the culture and make everything right. And I think like at that time, Total War 3 Kingdom's first day sale is like 1 million copy or something. This shows like if you're doing something right, the Chinese players will be really happy and they'll support you. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. That's really, really good to hear. So we've got a couple of questions in the chat. I don't know if you can see the Q&A section at all, but we've got a couple from, if you scroll right to the bottom, we've got a couple from Katie. She's asked if you've got any recommendations on places to look for more details on these sensitivities. Is there or just understanding the things that Chinese audiences really like?
Places to look for sensitivity. I guess like the quickest way is to ask to have like a native consultant, because there are just so many things that can go wrong. Like the post is right, the date can be wrong, the date is right. There's like some elements in like one screenshot can be wrong. So I think like the easiest way to just go for like a native consultant to get your game or your marketing assets checked. I think that's the easiest way. Yeah. Of course, you can ask ChatGPT or Google if this or that is appropriate for Chinese player. I think you can get some answer there as well. Yeah.
No, that's helpful. That's helpful. And gives us a second question there. It's interesting. Do Chinese players respond positively to games that have been made by Chinese players specifically? Katie, I'm not sure if you're referring to maybe someone who's based, for instance, in the UK who happens to be Chinese and they've made a game. But yeah, maybe I don't know, Mingzhen, if you want to sort of expand on that.
Do you have any recommendations on games being made by? Yeah, so I think like if it's made by Chinese developers, it will be highly likely that games will be very careful about all the sensitivity things, and probably will plant some of the Chinese element in the game, which will be popular in China, I think. Yeah, so I do think if the game is developed by Chinese developers, they will have a very huge strength to go into the China market. Yes.
Wonderful. And Glenn's asked about developers in China and how they recruit specialists and whether they use agencies. I don't know if you'd be able to answer that question. I'm assuming it's a bit of a mix.
So if you want to recruit like programmers or artists or specialists in China, of course, you can go to like your local partners. They will be able to help, or reach them out on LinkedIn. That's also an option. And yeah, because it's just like a very close market. So I think like the easiest way to just like find like a Chinese expert that can help to connect with you and the market. Yeah, that's the easiest. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Wonderful. Well, unless there are any other sort of burning questions, I think we should bring this to an end. Honestly, Mingzhen, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. I know you've also been in the chat all afternoon, so thank you for staying with us. I really appreciate it, and thank you as well to everyone who's attended. Really grateful for you to come along and listen to some of these amazing speakers, and thank you as well to each and every one of our panelists for today. It's been really interesting. I've learned an awful lot. And I hope you have too.